Okay. I just got up about 30 minutes ago. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and one might ask, why am I getting up out of bed about the time I get off work generally? Because I was up until after 6 a.m. doing this. Oh my God, you see this pad on the floor? This is a barricade. I had made it on every threshold from back here. This is my son's room, and oh my God, we had the luxury of finding out that he had bed bugs. Yeah, you heard that right. Bed bugs. Me, I'm a fanatic freak about things like this. Maddox is not the cleanest child, God knows, but I've lived in this house for 12 years, and this is the honest to God truth. I don't think I have ever seen a roach. Now, I have seen spiders, a few spiders. I've got an inside dog. I've always had one pretty much since I've lived here, or a flea in my house. And if I even detect something, like I thought I detected a scent of urine. All my rugs are cleaners. I freak out about stuff. So I waited because they like to come out at night. I spent half my day going to get chemicals, researching best chemicals, washing everything, throwing stuff out. Oh my God. And Maddox says I had to take all the drawers out, inspect every inch of furniture. And if you just knew the crap he had in his drawers. His closet. What? You're going to restart that. You don't need to add all that. Be quiet. I'm talking. You're going to have to edit. All right, be quiet. He had stuff from his floors, clothes. I mean, we have containers. We had this thing right here was full of clothes. From shoes, I had to wash everything that was near the floor, and I am going to have to go back and wash his the stuff up here. But I made sure I spent all night. First of all, of course, washing his bedding. And look, if you guys ever get this, I didn't know he did this. The one thing he should not have done is he went immediately and just out of impulse, I'm sure, because we didn't find out till about midnight or after. He come in there and tell me about this, and I'm half asleep the first night. He went and grabbed his blankets and stuff and threw them in the laundry. Well, you don't do that. If you ever get them, anything that leaves the contaminated room needs to go in a trash bag and immediately sealed, and then go to the laundry, because these things, even though they don't jump, they'll fall off. And my worst nightmare is that they will get transferred to another room. So anyway, after spending, oh my God, I can't tell you how many hours, and I'm still doing it, washing. Oh, and he had a dirty clothes hamper over here that was full overflow. He had blankets under his bed, towels, clothes everywhere. So I spent an entire day washing. Came in here, waited till night, because they come out at night, inspected everything. Oh, we had the joy of getting the mattresses out. You can't just take a mattress and haul it out. It's not that easy. I had to go I bought this painter's stuff that's plastic that you put down, and I already had Gorilla Tape. And we had to, me, 50-something-year-old me, and my son had to, in the middle of the night, come grab these mattresses, wrap them, because I did see bed bugs on them. Oh God, I was freaking out. And wrap them in tape quickly, immediately, and carefully without touching anything in the house. Got them out of my house, threw them over. This is like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, because I didn't want anybody seeing us. Threw them over the fence in my backyard, hauled them across my huge backyard, and then walked them, he and I, to a construction dumpster in the at the very back of my subdivision to get the mattresses. I know they say don't get rid of them, but oh no, I can't deal with that. We got rid of them. I already have new mattresses ordered, encasings ordered, all this kind of stuff. So I came back after I had initially got anything out that could be cleaned. Took time for laundry, had him go throw everything out that was not necessary for him to have in this room. Then after I had to take the time to research what chemicals were best. This is dianthus earth or something. I just Amazoned it, and it had the best reviews because I wanted to get something down quick. What this is, I didn't know, of course, I never know I wanted to do a video, do it at the last minute. This is a powder that you have to apply to every crack and crevice of a room. So what I did is because I know these things, and when I mentioned talking about it, even though I hadn't seen one on me. And look, I'm a fanatic about this. When we walked out of this house, the clothes we had on when we hauled those mattresses out, they dropped at the door. I had another set of clothes in a bag that we put back on as soon as we came in. So anytime we dealt with this, I came in here naked, to be honest with you, and did what a sight that would have been. And did this last night after he was asleep in the other room because I don't want any of this on my clothes. So, I mean, I am treating this. If I had a hazmat suit, I'd have it on. Literally, I'm not kidding you, because I'm a fanatic about stuff like this. You just don't know. So anyway, the first thing I did is I come back and I looked at the back. You want to get the furnitures away from the wall too. It's just farther away. I came and looked at the back of his bed, and I noticed up in these top, like around here, crevices. And of course, he would have the one headboard that can't just be a square. Oh, it's dovetails, it's grooves, it's squares. Everything's got lips with 3. So I saw another little, like just a small infestation right here. It was nothing major. I mean, like 3. But they have these little nests. And I know I put too much of this stuff on, but it was a squirt bottle. I had to act quick. I mean, I didn't know you were supposed to have a duster for this stuff. Nobody bothered telling you that on the Amazon, at the store I went to, or anything. But it was like a mustard, looked like a mustard container where you just squeezed it out. I'm upside down, literally every square inch. I mean, top to bottom of this thing. And these things were getting the rails, the casters, everything. So I did all this at night because they're nocturnal apparently. Of course, I generally I don't know if that's primarily because they suck on your blood, and that's where when you're in your beds at night. But he sits on this bed all the time and watches YouTube and does his stuff and plays video games because the TV's right in front of it. So he's constantly on this bed. So that's probably maybe why they were seemingly contained to the bed only. But after oh my God, and look, dovetails, I had to get up I mean, this just took me, I bet, an hour just to get the stuff. I had to go baseboards, had to put this stuff around the middle of the baseboards. I Gorilla taped outlets. The only reason I didn't have the powder around that because it leads outside. That's not really an issue. Around furniture legs. If I'd had time, I would have taken the outlets off and treated around them because that's not bedbugs. Because they will, that's probably paint from when I had painted before. They will go through from one room to the other. So literally, had I seen any more outside the perimeter of this bed, wow, that's coming up. That ain't good. I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job on that. Oh, it's because that's the cable thing. That's not. But anyway, they will go through those things to the next wall. So I created a barricade because I literally was exhausted, mentally, physically, and everything else. I created a barricade. You want me to video you on this? I created a threshold from the doors. But the good news, like I said, I inspected the corners. You have to take drawers out and look at the inside. They like to be in any back crack, crevice, or corner. They're not just going to be up front. So you have to look in the very back. I didn't see anything anywhere except the bed. And then once I applied, I literally sat here and watched for like 2 hours. And I could see them. I would see the little bed bugs. And they were some big ones. They looked like, this is one right freaking here. Oh my God. And you just watch. You just kill them. Oh, it's a nightmare. It is a freaking nightmare. Oh, help me, Jesus. I literally had to take a nerve pill. I'm shaking right now. Oh God, I thought I saw another one. But it doesn't kill them immediately. This stuff, it takes between 48 hours. This thing says on the container 48 hours. But I've read between 7 and 17 days. If you ever get this stuff, you act immediately. The first thing you need to do is wrap your mattresses. You can't just haul them around because they can't jump, but they will fall off the rest of the winter while you're moving them out of your house. And then look, you've contaminated another room. These things multiply. I think the females, I forgot, I'm so tired now. I read that they have babies, I want to say like every 5 days or something, and then they may have 50 babies at a, whatever you call baby, what did they say? Red bugs. I forgot, nymphs or larvae, whatever they are. I don't know all this stuff, and then I'm so tired and mentally exhausted. But they multiply. And what this stuff does is called Artemisius earth or something, right? Something earth. It's a big scientific name. You got to put it, because what these things do, they like to be in the corners, cracks, and crevices, like up there. That may be an infestation. And the way you find them is lots of times is, I don't think that's what this is their droppings, their poo. And their poo looks like a coffee grind, and if you smear it and it goes brown, no, it's disgusting. But I just had to lose some of my disgusting, freak outness about this stuff, because you got to take care of business. This stuff dries the exoskeleton out. It's like it causes them to be dehydrated. I saw some on the floor like that. It was a dead one. I don't know. Matt, did you kill some before we did it? Because why am I finding dead ones on the floor before I did anything? Did you kill a few of them?
I only killed the ones that I saw like crawling next to me.
Well, I saw like 3 or 4 dead on the floor, and I guess I've walked over. See, what I have on my body
so
right now.
How long does this take to finish, to kill them?
I just said it takes between
so I can, like
40. You won't be back in this room for weeks. You won't be back in this room for weeks. No, sometimes it takes longer than that. But the good news is, I looked, because you can see these little white things crawling, because they had the stuff all over them, the powder all over them. As a matter of fact, Maddox, you got to go, when you walk out of this room, take those shorts and immediately drop them in my...
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you cannot
rock
them.
Annoying.
I don't care, go straight right now, put them in the laundry, in the wash machine. Don't put anything on the floor. So what I have on now, I will go straight and put in the washing machine, because I'm just a fanatic about it. But anyway, they will get, but down here, I've seen videos, and I didn't do as much, I didn't have time to do as much research as I wanted to. I already told you where your clothes are in the trash bags, which is another thing. When you wash the clothing or whatever, what we didn't throw out, and trust me, I threw out tons, pillows, clothes, everything. I said, anything you don't wear, I don't care, we ain't giving it away, I don't care how nice it is. It ain't going to Goodwill, it's going to that trash that is at the end of my curb. It's not even in my garage anymore, even though they just ran the day before, of course, with my luck. But anyway, I washed everything, trash bag it up, put it up high. Cannot bring it back to the room till all this stuff is gone. I have a feeling they're contained in the area, because I literally stood in here for hours last night inspecting baseboards, every inch that I could of his other furniture pieces. Took all the drawers out, saw nothing, because they'll get in the back of your drawers. Generally, I talked to one of my friends that used to work for a big name company that he sprayed and stuff. He said generally they say within a 3-foot radius of the bed. And then I've watched some YouTube videos that say 6 to 8 foot radius. But since he was primarily right here watching he has a video set up. And by the way, they can get into electronics. So that's why some of these fumigating treatments, which they don't recommend, are not, I guess the heat or whatever would damage your electronics. But they said unless it's a major infestation, it's a very rare occurrence that they will get inside your electronics. But I do need to tell him to keep the laptop off the bed, because there are situations where if you have like a infested bed, they can get into your laptop. And I can't even imagine what that is. But these little, I bet I killed, I don't know if they're going to be coming out in the daytime. I bet I killed about 50, because I stood here for hours after I applied. And the first ones I saw were in the back of the headboard. They were in one of these corners right here. I think I told you that already. And anyway, it was kind of weird, because I would see them crawling. There were big ones and there were little ones. The big ones were like the size of a tick. And then there were little bitty ones. And the little bitty ones are microscopic. You can't see them. One of the lectures, or one of the videos I watched last night, from an expert said that like 1 in 5 people have these and don't know it. Now, I don't know. I haven't finished research enough to know if that's true. But that's scary. It says lots of people have them, but they don't know it. because they don't have a reaction to it. Some people, like poor Maddox, he's always had most sensitive skin. I don't. But I don't know, if something bites me, I go to freaking out and researching. I'm just that way. But anyway, bless his heart, I hope he's not allergic. That's the next thing I got to worry about, if he's allergic to it, because he's got places all over his body. Might have to take him to a dermatologist. But I think I've got to just go get cortisone, put that on him for his itching. But he's sensitive to it. He has bites, and he said he'd only noticed it like in the last 3 days. So hopefully, here's one right here. Oh my God! Oh, help me, Jesus! See, it's easier to see with this one. And look, if this weren't such a situation it is, there's no way in God's name I'd be touching a freaking insect and smashing it, especially full of blood. This ain't me. Anybody who knows me, I freak out at stuff. I love my dog, but if there were a problem with fleas or something like that, or her urinating in my house, as much as I love her, I would get rid of her. I would move. But the thing is, this stuff is so life-changing, you can't just move out of the house because you'll take it with you with your stuff. And I'll tell you this, I used to go to those auctions, and but I wasn't much on buying big furniture, but I love antiques. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the only piece of furniture that was soft I think I ever bought was a couch it was an antique sofa that's in my parlor. It came from a senator's house. But I'm telling you now, I will never, ever, now that I've done my research, buy a used piece of furniture again. And so you would think, or I would have thought upholstery would have been the big problem. I would be thinking wood. I wouldn't have thought, which I'm no expert on bedbugs. I probably will be in a day or two. But I wouldn't have thought wood would be a type of, texture or service that they're attracted to. But and of course, we can't just have normal square. We got to have dovetails. And so this was a nightmare spray. Upside down, I wanted to make sure, every little crack, baseboards. And we're lucky in that I think this is self-contained, because I literally, like I said, I watched. There was no movement on any of the metal portion of his bed, because they're bad about getting down there. I literally need to do, and I'll probably do this today, dismantle this bed, because what you have to do is dismantle these, and really, I put too much of this powder. You're supposed to put it out with a duster. And some people say it's supposed to be just a light application, but I couldn't get it. I didn't have a duster. I wasn't waiting another day. I was going for it. So I'm sure I will treat this room again and maybe be not so heavy-handed the next time. But, I just had to do what I had to do. I had to get what I could get. I'm going to do a more thorough inspection of the guest bedroom, which is next door. And like I said, I did put all this stuff down, thresholds at doors. I had initially had these trash bags down. Every little thing now, I'm paranoid about it. Before I put the Diamat, Miss Earth, whatever this is. But now I'm going to have to reapply this because, the dog and kid. Max, try not to walk in his line. I didn't tell you that. But that's kind of a barricade. But anyway, I came in the guest bedroom, covered up the outlets with duct tape. And don't leave this lamp on all day. Y'all always do that. And I would have come in here had I seen one of, and then I still may do it today, go ahead and treat the baseboards. I probably will today of this room. It's not such a big deal about, I don't think I've got to, some people say you don't need to treat windowsills. That'd be wonderful because I got big windows in the rooms. That'll be fun. Some people say that it's not a big deal about them going outside. But I got to find that out today. But these dang things will get inside the walls and live up to, and sometimes I heard one lady say 18 months without food, and the only thing they eat is human blood. They don't care about like this stuff the Mattresses leaves in the toilets for food, leaving out. They don't care about anything about that. All they want is human blood. But they will hide out in a wall, and even if you put that heat treatment, because I was looking into. And God knows that would have been a minimum of $5,000. So I don't even think anybody in this city does it. But they will heat up your entire house and like an oven, because I think 120 to 140 degrees kills these things. But a lot of people say that what they do is they'll just get in the wall and they'll wait for the heat to get back down. And so he's sitting on my sofa. I almost want to quarantine him. I told him I don't want him coming in my room, although he's done that a couple of times. But anyway, if you get bed, here's the thing. My research so far, and I didn't plan on doing this video this morning, but he did one. I said, you should have told him this and this. And he's like, well, you do it. These things can come in primarily 3 ways. And everybody used to think hotel rooms. Yeah, that's true. And they still do come from hotel rooms. It's recommended that you don't take your luggage to your hotel room. You don't put anything down. Forgot about this drawer right here. Until you inspect the bed and the luggage rack and the bed skirt, because they are notorious. And I knew that and that's one reason I always think I try to stay in. I try, not always. I'm able to try to stay in a nice hotel when I go somewhere. But I tell you this, I can promise you from here on out, I won't set a purse down until I do a check. Like this guy that did this, I think it was a TED Talk on Bedbugs, an expert was talking about it. He spends at least 15 minutes. He says he has friends that spend like 2 hours going over a hotel room. I'm not going to be that. I wouldn't have the time or patience to do that. But anyway, public transit, school buses. They come from school buses. You go to the library. They're in books. I went to the big Monroe Symphony Orchestra book sale. I love it when I can go there. A couple of weeks ago, because I love books, and I bought books, and you can get them for, instead of $15 a book, you can get them for 15 cents a book. I buy them for my students in my classroom. Of course, now I'm pretty sure I don't have any in my room. Of course, I have the luxury of having mattresses that are like the darkest multi-colored mattresses. It would be extremely hard to see bed bugs on mine, but I'm pretty sure I would have felt them. I will continue to do my inspection of my home today. This is extremely time consuming. But they will. The primary ways of getting them is either someone brought them into your home, which he's had several kids who live in apartment complexes. I mean, I ain't hating on anybody, because my son Chandler, my disabled son, somebody brought them into his apartment complex. He has to have workers that come, that bring their bags and back and forth, that stay with him because he's disabled. Plus the fact he lives in an apartment complex. My older son and his dad lived in the nicest complex, I won't say the name, in Ouachita Parish. Paid more for those apartments than they would have paid for a 2-story house note. Guess what? They're infested with them. I hate to say it, but they were treated. Their apartment was treated several times. Had a 3-bedroom apartment. It was a nightmare. I felt so sorry for them. And they were primarily in Roman's room. And so I have a feeling I know where he went and got them. But then again, you don't know. It could be anywhere. It's not a nasty thing. I mean, first I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh, dear Jesus. I still kind of had that thing in my head where, like, lice or whatever, this is a dirty person's problem, but it really is not. But anyway, they had to move. It cost him a fortune. And he's the type, like, he didn't even take furniture. He got rid of almost everything in his 3-bedroom apartment, which was nice stuff. I mean, I'm not talking cheap stuff. He had good stuff. And they built some brand new townhouses in West Monroe, and he moved and left his stuff. But anyway, it's a nightmare if you get it. You got it. See, Matt's going to send me. I'm just trying. I know this is long and I'm rambling, and he probably will have to edit this. But understand they come in through backpacks. If you go to someone's house or someone comes to your house, I don't know if I'll ever have anybody in my house again. Do not let them bring a bag in or a purse. If they bring it in, or if you take yours into someone else's house, do not put a backpack or a purse on a bed, a sofa, or a chair. Do not sit them there. That's where the larvae or if it's possibility of being infested, that's where they're going to be, where the humans are. So I will never again put a purse, bag, or anything on anyone's sofa, bed, or chair. It's life-changing. It will change you. These things travel human transit, buses. Chandler rides a van for disabled. Maddox rides the school bus. So there you go. people leaving from your house, going to someone else's house that may or may not know they're infested, may or may not have treated if they do know, bringing them back. The fact that they seem to have been isolated to his bed makes me think that somehow they came in directly from him. I don't think he ever he wouldn't much throw a backpack on the bed. So I don't know. I think they may have come in on clothing and just be on his bed. But this is life-changing. You'll never be the same again. When I do travel, I like to travel. I don't have time to do it like I like to. But I love a hotel room. And I will forevermore be very vigilant against that. Movie theaters, that's another thing. We're huge movie buffs. You can get them from the seat of a movie theater, and we constantly go. And I will probably, for the rest of my life now, drop my clothes at the door of my garage when I leave a movie theater. It is life-changing. So I've got new mattresses. You need to buy these bed-bug-proof encasings for mattress. That's the least thing you can do. It's a zipper enclosure for all mattresses and box springs. I got them. If you're going to have box springs, you have to have them encased. When I had to, when my older son, Chandler's apartment had this, we had to do that. We got rid of the bed. We got rid of the mattresses. We got rid of all the furniture, chairs, couch. We got rid of everything. You need to mark the stuff, spray paint it or cut it up so people will pick this stuff off the curb, take it in their house, and then you've got an epidemic start, infestation. And I would not be surprised if there wasn't one in Washington Parish. I know the apartments and hotels, there's certain ones here. I've talked to enough people. I've been on the phone because this has been driving me insane. There are infestations in apartments and hotels. Very vigilant of that. You have to have several. You're not going to treat this once, it's going to be gone. I'm going to have to retreat. Chandler's apartment had to be retreated in Romans. And we're all very clean people. I mean, we're really not. I'm not. I say I'm clean. I'm really kind of a slob, only because I'm such a workaholic. I don't clean. If I can't clean it completely, I don't start it. So I'm not vigilant as I should be about dusting, things like that. But I run that Roomba constantly, and I don't leave food particles or anything. It's not a dirty person's thing. It's really not. No, they do like clutter. Don't throw stuff under your bed. Let your kids throw stuff under the bed because that's where they like to hide. They love to be around the bed because they're around your body. If you were to sleep on the sofa or spend a lot of time on the sofa, that's where they'd probably hang out there too. And they tell you to tear those linings out from under the bottom of your sofa, which is really fun for me because I have a vintage 100. I had my leather sofa made. I picked out a Corinthian leather from Italy and had them make it, picked out the design from a catalog. It was made in North Carolina. So it's huge, it's heavy, it's 100% leather. I did a cursory inspection, but you're supposed to unstaple or tear off that lining that's on the bottom of box springs and sofas, and they get up into the bones and the skeleton of the furniture and the cracks and crevices. I haven't attacked that because I don't think they're in but I will go through this sofa. I will go through my other sofa. This is how I'm spending my spring break. This is taking up all my time. But predominantly within 6 to 8 feet of where you reside, whether it's laying on a couch, sitting on a couch all day, predominantly your bed. That's why they call them bed bugs. But understand when you treat it, you got to take every cloth thing. They say you don't have to throw away mattresses. I don't care. Once I saw them on that mattress, I freaked out and they got out of here quick. And you can treat them. I ain't going to go into that. There's ways to do it. But since I didn't do it, my big thing is just get rid of them because that's primarily where they were. Get new ones. I would say get white ones because that way you can see them crawling. Don't just buy any brand just because you got a zipper enclosure. That's what I did for Chandler, my disabled son. I enclosed his mattress and box springs, and do your research, get the right kind that are bed bug proof, not just waterproof, not bug proof, bed bug proof. That won't kill them. It might take a year for the ones inside to die, but they won't be able to get out. They will eventually starve to death, and even if you do get a new ones, they'll just crawl on top. They won't be able to survive, and it cuts down dramatically on the possibility of you having an invasion. I'm praying to God that this is contained to his room. I think it is. I think it's primarily just contained to his bed. But I'm still going to follow up and inspect and probably treat the adjoining rooms because they will go through the walls to the next room once they start moving and realizing the human host is gone. So I'm going in the guest bedroom. Thank God doesn't have many things in there. It'll be easy to treat that. I've already looked at the mattress on the underside, and that's where I found them. It wasn't just in the mattress. It was in not just the corner crevice of his mattress. It was where the dark tag was. That was the hardest place because he did have a light color mattress, but there was a dark where it said Sulu Posturpedic, whatever. That's where they were, in that darkened corners. That's what they like. They like night. They like stillness. They like deep cracks and corners. So that's what you got to do. You got to wash every single thing. Do not put it back in there for a while. Bag it up. Put it high on the shelf. They even say duct tape the freaking garbage bags. Take one thing at a time. So I was up and literally until 7 o'clock this morning drying shoes for 20 minutes minimum. They say I've read 20 to 30 minutes. I've read 2 minutes in a high. Everything's got to be on high heat. You can't just go in there and wash anything in cold. You got to wash it, dry it in high heat. That's what kills it. There's a few things you can put, like if you have something, small things like you had baseball belts. I put them in a bag, Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer. As a matter of fact, I was so frantic, I accidentally tossed my phone in the bag. We looked for my phone for a good 30 minutes, and I thought the only other thing I could have done is maybe accidentally toss them in. And my phone was in the freezer. Thank God it wasn't frozen. Found that about, I don't know, maybe 2 in the morning amongst all this. But bed bugs are a common problem. I'm going to try to find out. I'm going to call LSU Ag Center and see how predominant they are in Ouachita Parish. I don't know if we've got an epidemic going on out here like some cities actually do. One of the guys that spoke, I might have said 1 in 5 people. I've seen it on the Dr. Oz show. And a lot more people don't know it. Check the underside of your mattresses, of your bed or your headboard, your sofas and stuff, and you can see them crawling. Once they get big and they're full of human blood, they're like the size of maybe a seed. I don't know, an apple seed, a tick, and the little ones are microscopic. You can't even see them. So you do have to reapply. I tried to get, they say you need a professional, especially if you've got a big case of them and you can see them everywhere. Definitely, you need to call a professional. But the fact that I called the professional that another professional recommended, and the only reason I did it myself and I'm doing it myself is because that's what he recommended. And once I watched a few YouTube videos, I saw where people were doing it themselves, and I had people tell me that they had hired, their friends had hired companies to come in and they had to go back behind it and do it themselves anyway. So I thought, nobody's going to be more vigilant about doing this and doing it right than me, because I got to live here. So if a professional can do it, it's just like my yard. I used to hire professionals to do my yard, and then I realized I can do all this myself, and I'm going to be more vigilant because it's my yard. And that's just the way it is. So there's no shame in my game. I know these things were brought into my house. I know it has nothing to do with how we live. But I thought, once again, this may help somebody. Don't be secretive and don't treat it because you don't want to have the stigma. I threw it on Facebook as soon as I could because I wanted to get people. I was just freaking out about it. I don't know why I did it. I think one thing I wanted to see what people knew about it. People been through it. Give me some suggestions because I was frantic initially, even though I knew a little bit about it from hearing Roman's story. And like I said, they live in the nicest complex in Ouachita Parish. They got it, and the whole building, the apartments are infested. I mean, they talked to the guys who had sprayed, and they sprayed and resprayed. They cannot get rid of them because of the tenants next. Once you got multiple home dwellings, that's a whole new hotels. That's a whole new game. Won't even go there. But if you live in a single house dwelling, and the guy on the video just said, dude, if you can, just get out of the apartments. I know everybody can't just move, but I will forevermore be weary. I used to think I wouldn't mind living in apartments again, maintenance man. I don't have to worry about stuff. I don't need a lot of space, but I will forevermore be wary about apartments due to bed bugs. Because even though I'd never dealt with them when I was younger, I lived in tons of apartments and I never had a problem. But they're out there, people. If you get them, YouTube, video, go get your stuff treated immediately. Wash, throw out a bunch of stuff. I threw out every pillow except 1 or 2. I kept 2 and then treated them immediately in the dryer, 20 minutes, high heat. Throw in every other pillow blanket. I threw a lot of stuff away. I got a trash can full of stuff into my curtain trash had just run that day. Wash and dry everything immediately from top to bottom. Clean everything off the floor. Go get you some good. They say aerosol spray does not work as well. I've heard some good stuff about crossfires. Exterminators use the product Crossfire, but I found the best one with the highest Amazon rating that I could immediately because I was ready to get on this stuff quick. On my follow-up applications, I will probably mix another, and I may follow up on this. I may mix another recommended product, maybe a spray or something with this. But I will be going inside the outlets. They say turn the thing off. Max and they're complaining, this is too long or whatever. Turn your flip the switch of the fuse. I'm so exhausted mentally, physically, I can't even think. Before you open up the wall outlets, spray inside. Do your powder inside there. Even put the powder inside the wall outlet itself, the plastic thing. Sprinkle it inside the hole in the wall to help keep them, because they'll go through the wall outlets, the cable outlets, I guess, too, whatever. So I got to do that, put you a perimeter around, and good luck. It's not the end of the world, although that's what Max is having to tell me, because I have been freaking out. I've literally had to take a nerve pill every day dealing with this stuff because it just freaked me out. But treat it immediately. Or if you've got a big infestation, you can see them visually, I'd call in a professional. I still may call in a professional to come behind me, but since I only saw them and I watched for hours last night once nightfall hit and got those mattresses out, I literally only found them in one place, the bedboard. I didn't find them near the bottom of the bed, rails, or anything. So that made me a little better, but I'm fixing to go examine the adjoining room that Maddox has had to move in because we pretty much sealed his room off. In fact, I'm going to get double tape and put them on the bottom of his door. Be quiet. I'm going to put bait out at the bottom of the four corners of the bed. Some people say put little containers of this diatomaceous, whatever it is, earth. Put it on the bottom of in little bowls under the 4 bed rails. I will do that, or I will have some kind of bait here from here on out. A barricade. My mattresses will be encased. In fact, I forgot to, I ordered one for everybody except my bed, which I've got. I'm gonna go back on Amazon. Amazon, especially got Prime. A couple days, you can see the ones with the good reviews. I'm gonna have everything encased, and good luck if you get them. Hope maybe this helps somebody. Hope I don't get any haters. I know people are, disgusting bedbug. You're disgusting. It's not that. Because this could it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody, especially if you have kids coming in and out of your house like we do. I don't have a lot of adults coming in, but he does kids. And so where there's a backpack, there can be a bed bug. If you get it, good luck. Thanks. Bye.